right, everybody. Today we have a special guest. Y'all all seen him in several different ways. Y'all heard his voice. We have DC, the Brain Supreme, Glenn on the line. But for those that do not know, there's a couple of people that never heard of you, DC. They never heard. So here,
they're about to hear about me today.
Party people!
Now they've heard of me.
Now they remember.
That's me, DC, the Brain Supreme, and my man Steve.
All right, man, change to my 28-year-old.
And it goes a little something like this.
Oh, yeah.
Tag team, back
We gonna let
again.
them
Check
feel
it
bad, man.
Let's begin.
Back.
Party on, party people, let me hear some noise. DC's in the house, jump, rejoices. There's a party over here, a party over there. Wave your hands in the air, shake the dairy, yeah. These three words mean you're getting busy. Whoop, there it is, Hitman. Whoop, there it is.
Everybody sing along.
Nah, they remember that.
The party started tonight.
Tasha, did you know Geico could save you hundreds on car insurance and a whole
But
lot
for the
more?
younger
So what are you
generation,
waiting for?
you may
Hip
know
Hop
him
Group
from
Tag
this.
Team to help you plan dessert.
Fresh vanilla, rocky road, chocolate peanut butter cookie dough. Scoop this, scoop this, scoop this, scoop this, scoop.
And this is my favorite part. Look at my man right here. Scoop.
Geico. Switch today and see all the ways you could save.
Now, who came up with the sprinkles?
All right, so I have to put all that in context, and that'll come about when we talk about that later on. But it might as well start now. So I'm an actor, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when we got the call, it's crazy how it happened, because I really got to give you context. Back in 2011, I'm working at the club, right? DJing, DJing forever. And security comes like, DC, you gotta get to the front door. There's this woman on the phone and she won't get off the phone. She says she need to talk to you. And I'm like, man, which one of these heifers I done, right? I'm trying to figure, I'm like, wait a minute. And the lady was like, I gotta talk to you, blah, blah. I was like, look, I'm working, the record about to go out. Please call me in the morning at this number. And she called me the next day. It was a reporter from the New York Times. And she was like, have you seen the Gawker article? And I was like, no. It's just like, everybody thinks that Barack Obama was in Whoop, There It Is video. And I'm like, what? Because there's a group called Deuce and L.A. Snow, who's a member. He was in the video, and they took one little frame, and it looks just exactly like Barack Obama. And we did press in every publication, every network for a whole week. But at the end of that week, I was upset because I didn't have anything to show for it, right?
Okay.
That should have turned into money, and it didn't. And we all have points in our life where things happen and you kind of see them as missed opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
But I never see them as missed opportunities. I see them as, that's never going to happen again.
Okay.
And that's what started my SEO career, search engine optimization, learning about Google, learning how to build websites, learning the whole nine, digital marketing, everything.
Okay.
And the problem was nobody could find me. I can't make no money if nobody finds me, right? Or nobody sees me. So that started that. And then I get a call one day from my agent for acting. And she's like, DC, you just booked a Geico commercial. And I'm like, why are you playing my emotions, Smokey? I didn't even audition for no Geico commercial, right? And she was like, DC, they said they wanted tag team. And I was like, oh. And I went to my phone because I have a tag team line.
Uh-huh.
There it was, the call. And I didn't answer the phone, but back then, during the Barack Obama saga, you type in tag team, it was all about wrestling.
Oh, okay.
Tag team today, it's all tag team because I put in that work, right?
Yeah.
And they went to my IMDb, and then they found my agent. And then my agent calls, and I'm like, okay, I could take it from here. And I was like, wait a minute, break bread with your agent, because they do this. You're in
Yeah.
theatrical and commercial. This is a commercial. Let them do it. You ain't got to hire no lawyers. You ain't got to deal with that rigmarole. You just got out of a 20-year lawsuit. You prevailed, but 20 years of trauma during that, which really wasn't trauma. But for most people, it would have been, but not for me. It was, but I didn't deal with it that way.
Okay.
And, I let them make the deal. And it is the most lucrative deal I've ever made in my life. Right.
Wow.
And after that, it was like, okay, I know you guys are happy. And I was like, not, now the work starts. It's not just enough to have a Geico commercial. What you gonna do with it, right? And so the first thing they were like, it's gonna be soup. There it is. And I was like, really? I was like, all right, cool. Let me go prepare. And I'm flipping through Seinfeld episodes trying to find a soup Nazi episode just to get ideas, just to come into the game prepared, right? And they called me back and it's like, no, it's gonna be ice cream. Scoop, there it is. And I was like, and there was a moment where it took me back to our back porch in Denver, Colorado, where my father was like, I want some ice cream. And he throw the eggs and the sugar and the vanilla and the milk. And we put the ice in the cylinder with the rock salt. And then he poured in and then we turn. My brother would turn 5 minutes. I would turn 5 minutes. And then 20 minutes later, 2 kids are eating ice cream out of a cylinder that they just made. And I wanted to bring that essence and that joy to the commercial. And I just started preparing. I said, okay, I want to spin a scoop. I want this. I want that. I had like 10 things, right? And the production meeting, the producer and the director, were there. I was like, look, I got some ideas, y'all. What can we do? It's like, DC, anything you want to do. I was like, cool. And I said, well, I tried to get a spin and scoop made, but I couldn't do it, but that's okay. He's like, no. It'll be done tomorrow. I was like, word? Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, I know kids love sprinkles, so we need to have some sprinkles. Like, DC, we're gonna have a truckload of sprinkles right there for you. Like, boy. And then, I was like, I gotta represent the South. So we do this little dance called the Yeek ATL. And we're gonna do some dance steps. He's like, whatever you want to do, DC, I keep telling you. And I just ran off the rest of the list. And that next day, we had a ball because we got to be tag team, right? We got to go back to Freaknik. We got to go back to Atlanta Live on Saturday night. We got to go back to Magic City in the 80s and 90s. We got to go back, to everything that I've ever done in my existence in Atlanta, Georgia, and bring it to that commercial because we represent, and could have shot 5 commercials on that on that commercial, right? Because there was that much footage. And after that, I was like, okay, cool. What you gonna do now? But we're in the middle of a pandemic. Uh-oh. What you gonna do?
In the house.
And it's like, so, usually we're gone on tour. And Salt Pepper did theirs 2014, and they hadn't stopped touring since until the pandemic, right? So I'm like, what can I do? I'm hustling. Because I'm constantly learning. I'm constantly striving to be better than I was yesterday. And I said, let me get with a meeting with my agents and see what we could do, because I think I wanted to get a publicist and blow this up.
Okay.
And we started looking for publicists, and no publicists wanted to do anything because it was a pandemic, and they didn't know how to approach a commercial. They're like, usually we do a junket, fly to New York or LA. And I'm like, okay, cool. And here's one of the things that throughout the history of DC, the Brain Supreme, I have curated what I call learn how to learn hustle tactics, right? And from being in them clubs, because you better have 6 hustles in the hole, because somebody's gonna take your main one, or they're gonna dilute it. And if you don't have another one in the hole, you're gonna be short, and you're gonna be looking mad, and you're gonna just turn old and bitter. And I said, all right. And whenever that happens, somebody tells me no, or somebody's like, well, it can't be done. I'm like, okay. I go join, and I want everybody to listen to this, because I don't want to ever hear anybody say, man, we can't do that, or they don't teach us that. I don't even want to hear nobody say that, because all you got to do, or this is what I do. I join an organization, society, or organization, society, or association, because they're filled with people who are expert in their craft and in their field. And they love their field so much, they made an organization with all the resources for people who want to do what they want to do, that they've done 10, 20, 30, 40 years. And I joined the Public Relations Society of America, PRSA.
Okay.
And I'm gonna come on damn publicist, right? 2 days in, I'm on a Zoom call and I raised my hand. Our press release is relevant. And they're like, what's it for? I was like, I'm kind of, in a Geico commercial called Scoop, There It Is. And if they weren't paying attention, they was paying attention then. And the whole Zoom chat blew up. Like, my kid loves that. My daughter loves that. My dog loves that. It was just I'm looking at the chat and it's just, and the lady welcomes me, the moderator welcomes me because they're tripping. And then, like, back to DC's question, are press releases relevant in this day and age? Because a lot of people think press releases aren't relevant. She was like, of course that press release is relevant, because the whole last year has been about COVID. Every article, everything out there has been about COVID. Everything has been political. Everybody's been fighting each other. Everybody's just been in disarray. And you guys come throwing sprinkles, spinning scoops, dancing, busting a move, and DC, your smile. And not only is that press release going to work, but you're going to go here for all the publicists. You're going to go here for all the journalists. You're going to go here for all the TV talk shows. You're going to go here for all the podcasts and make sure your pitches are like this. She gave me the entire breadth of her expertise in 10 minutes. And I have not looked back, bro. I have not looked back, and it has opened doors for me that I could have never thought possible. And it's the reason we're talking, right?
Wow. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Wow. It's like there's never, ever an excuse. And that's why I do 3-4 podcasts a day, because I feel that it's my responsibility to talk to people about things I wish somebody had talked to me about when I was a young man, right?
Yeah.
So I love to help people. And my motto is give what you want first. And because of that press release, I dropped it Super Bowl week on a Wednesday. Thursday morning, the Dan Patrick Show calls me. Now Friday, I'm on a Dan Patrick Show, national television, talking about Magic and Geico commercial. And Geico's listening, right? Then a week later, Tamron Hall calls, and every time somebody calls, like, how did you hear? What made you pick us? Like, man, the press release, man. That was a banging press release. And then I realized that when you do a press release right, it's a Trojan horse for me, because you got to have a good headline to keep the pull. Then that first paragraph, you got to tell them what it's about, but then the rest is about what you're doing, your dreams, your goals, your desires. And now people get to see who you are. And if like that one, 350 entities picked it up, AP, all kind of people picked it up. That's 300 do follow links back to the website.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It has a 4 or 5 prong approach, right?
Yeah.
And you start curating things that are custom to your hustle, then nobody can take them from you, right? And that's what I do. That's what I've been doing for years, but now I've honed that skill to just include anything, everything, and anything that I can learn. You know, like I said, it's called learn how to learn. It's not just good enough to learn. You got to learn how to learn. I think that's the problem that a lot of brothers have out here. They want to learn, but they look at it as a quid pro quo, right? Man, if I do this class, I better this got to happen. I was like, it don't work like that. You know what I mean? You got to get out there. You got to plant them seeds and keep it moving. You got to just keep taking shots, right? It's not throwing stuff and hoping it sticks against the wall. It's throwing your hopes, desires, dreams, everything you want out in the universe, and then leaving it alone and keep going to the next thing. Because what happens is people get emotional about it. Once you get in your emotions, you're doomed.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? You're doomed because as a man, our biggest downfalls are our ego and our pride. That's why I love to be wrong. I love to admit when I'm wrong. It kills me inside. It's like somebody slicing my insides up. But what that's doing is it's sequestering your ego and it's sequestering your pride.
Okay.
And now your mind is open to the world of every opportunity, everything you can think of, and your mind is clear. because you're not worried about being right, winning an argument, or all the other dumb stuff that people are doing right now. You're
Mhm.
worried about the solution. I always think solutions.
Okay.
I
Okay.
love when people come tell me problems. Man, I'm doing this. And I ask them, well, what's the solution? What? It's like, you told me all the problems. What's the solution? Man, I don't know. What? I was like, oh my gosh. You know what I'm saying? It's like people come and say, man, I can't do that because of this. I was like, thank you. Because now I've just come up with 5 in my head that I could put in my toolbox. So if I come across your situation, it's not going to happen to me. I'm not going to be crippled by my own hubris, right?
Yeah.
And if everybody can get a control and stay out their emotions and just don't react, put it in your pocket and use it for later, it turns into positive energy, right? So I always think about solutions. It might, it's perfect example. Got a call yesterday.
Mhm.
We want you to tag team throughout the first pitch of the White Sox game in a week and a half.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like, uh-oh. You know where I just came from? Came from a batting cage and just threw 400 baseballs. So I don't be looking like Fauci.
Dad, look at you. Look at you.
You know what I'm saying? Because everything is about preparation. Like, and people look at me and they say, DC, you can't do everything. Man, you doing this, you doing that. You can't do it. You can't do it all. When I tell my ideas, I'm like, I'm gonna do this. You can't do it all, man. I'm like, you know what? You're right. I can't do it all. But I sure enough can be prepared for it all. Right?
Yeah.
They're like, word, that makes sense. And I'm like, you don't even realize that you now approve of what you just disapproved of, said differently.
Yeah.
Because preparation is doing everything.
Yeah.
Y'all don't want it with me. There are no excuses. There's none of that. Now, we are human, and it ain't easy, right? I tell people this all the time. It ain't easy. It's hard. I'm just as lazy as everybody else. I'm just as flawed as everybody else, but I do it anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Okay.
Think about it. Every time you say you're gonna go to the gym, you're like, man, I'm going to the gym, but then you got Monsieur Saboteur. That's why I call him Monsieur Saboteur on my shoulder. Come on, man, don't go to the gym, man. Go to Wendy's, man. Let's go to Wendy's. It's like, nah, dude, we're going to the gym, man. Let's go. All right, man, let's go. We're just gonna do a little bit, man. And then you get to the gym, and then when you finish a workout, the only thing you can say is, damn, I'm glad I went to the gym. Right? That's how I believe everything. So I get if it's real hard to do something, I get up slow, put one shoe on, put the other shoe on. I do everything slow. And then I get out that house and I just go, right? And it works. And we all have times where we fall off, where you could be doing things better than you're doing it, but having that consistency and trying to acquire that discipline is what is going to make you great. And like I tell people, I said, it doesn't get easier, but it does get better, right?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So there's a difference, right? Because none of it's easy. Like today, in a typical day, I get up and I start coding and start learning about Wikidata. I'm learning about JSON LD markup. I'm learning about all the things that Google done switched up on us.
Okay.
Right? I gotta go learn that, but then I'm trying to build a brand new show, and I'm cutting and making loops. And now I'm got a tutor for music production because I'm trying to make songs and jingles and stuff like that again. But then I'm about to start taking dance classes because I want to just, if I'm gonna work out, might as well take a dance class and learn how to dance and work out at the same time. That's what.
Yeah, because you can't let that guy in that Geico commercial show you up.
I mean, but then but it's about preparation for what comes your way. So things are coming my way. Like, let me tell you something, man. They about to give us our own ice cream, right?
Oh.
See what I'm saying? So all of this comes from hustle, right? As artists, most artists just sit back and do what they do, and they let their managers and everybody else do that. I don't do that. I'm like, I'm gonna find out how the sausage is made, then I'm gonna put that hustle on it, and then can't nobody do what I know how to do. Then I'm gonna teach it to the people who want to learn, and then they're gonna be on my team.
Okay.
That's how you build a team, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if somebody falls off, you can always still do it yourself when you're not at a disadvantage, right? So I right now I'm trying to learn how to do everything that I could possibly do because one, I'm an actor, so it
Okay.
helps, right? You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? It helps because if I end up being, playing having a baseball role, well, at least I know I can go, but I got a week to throw pitches.
Yeah.
And today, after about 20 minutes of instruction, because I got a trainer and everything, I'm throwing strikes from 60 feet from the mound, right?
Okay.
Not consistently, maybe
Mhm.
every 4 pitches, but I promise you in a week. And then, hey, man, I put on a sauna suit. I probably lost like 5 pounds doing that. And that's what triggered, say, hey, take some dance classes, get your rhythm back a little bit, right? You're
Okay.
not going to never dance for some, but if there's, but you can work out. And if there's a chance that somebody says, hey, we want you to be on Dancing with the Stars, I'm like,
You ready?
I've done it, so let me do it, right?
Yeah.
Because I've been practicing. It's just, you just want tools in your, see, I don't have a toolbox or a tool
Mhm.
belt. I got a Home Depot. No, I got an Ace Hardware. I got a tool stick. I walk up in my
Yeah.
spot and it's just like, man, what you doing? I was like, these are the tools I use for every situation that I need, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And that's why I am like I am. And like I was saying about artists not doing, that, and that's cool. That's their prerogative. But for me,
Yeah.
if I don't hustle and if I don't jump into the Martin agency and learn who all the people are, who all the players are, and have relationships with the people who just paid me, and then have relationships with the people at Geico, the people who just paid me,
Mm-hmm.
because when you get to know people and when you network like that, then you flip it around and then you let them see you hustle.
Yeah.
And when
Yeah.
you let them see you hustle, more opportunities come because they know they can trust you.
Okay.
They know that you're professional. They know that you're on time. They know that you're going to give the best effort and the best quality work. You know what I'm saying? So after, it's not just a Geico commercial,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
After a month after the Geico commercial, we're doing all these. I'm doing all the press, right? Because I learned how to be a publicist, and then I was already doing podcasts, but that's just I was just doing them. But now
Yeah.
I'm busting 3, 4, 5 a day because I am practicing
Okay.
articulation,
Mm-hmm.
practicing my diction. I'm practicing my storytelling. I'm having relationships and learning how to deal with people from different cultures, different races, different ideas, different moves, different political persuasions, right? And
Yeah.
effectively sequestering all the things that we might not have in common,
Okay.
and talk about the things we all have in common, because all of us have, most of us humans want the same thing. We want peace of mind, we want to take care
Mm-hmm.
of our families, we want prosperity, we want this paper, and we want to be left the hell alone, right? And those conversations are beautiful, right? Because it could be somebody from Idaho, it could be somebody from Selma, Alabama, it could be somebody from Maine, it could be
Mm-hmm.
somebody from Spain, right? I had one with a lady in Spain, and she was so nervous. She was like, you didn't answer my questions back. And I was like, I kind of don't do that. She was like, but I don't feel comfortable. I want to cancel. I was like, hey, just push the button.
Just let it roll.
Just push the button. I said, ask me one question, I'll take care of the rest, right?
Yeah.
And then the biggest thing is that it's almost like a strategy session, because we're talking, right? We're talking about life. We're
Mm-hmm.
talking about how to maneuver. We're talking about everything you need, the tools you need to succeed. And the best thing is therapy. You know what I'm saying? It ends up being therapy because I get to have conversations with people who, we get to talk things out. And a lot of times people lose their mind because they can't talk things out with people who know what the hell they're talking about. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this way
Yeah.
I get to bounce things off of people. I get to, every time I do one of these, I get another idea about something that I can do to nurture. Right.
Okay.
And I started and I just let it go. So for me, I love life because I've been blessed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I've been blessed with the ability, and I owe this to my mother and father. I have been stemming collard greens and shucking peas since I was 5 years old. My mom had a prep cook, right? Because my mom and my dad worked us, me and my little brother, like dogs, right? Just like, get out there and do that grass. Go cut them hedges, clean these windows,
Mm-hmm.
wash these clothes, separate the whites from the blacks. You know what I'm saying? Mop
Mm-hmm.
the floor, do this. You know what I mean? Cut the wash my car, right? And they paid us, but if we didn't do something, you know,
Mm-hmm.
that stick was severe because it wasn't a whooping. It was, okay, if you don't go to church, you can't watch TV today.
Okay. Okay.
If you don't do your chores, you can't go play football on Sunday with all your friends. You know, a couple times losing that, it hurts. And
Yeah.
I became a hustler about 8-9 years old when we had a blizzard in Denver, Colorado, and
Mm-hmm.
the only family had a snowblower. When I did our yard real quick, and we just kids playing in snow. Mr. Grant was struggling next door. We did his lawn, his driveway. We did every driveway on the block.
Mm-hmm.
Next week, me and my brother coming home, and it's like, hey, boy, come here. It's $20. I appreciate you doing with snow. $20. And we probably made like $400.
Wow.
$400 for a kid is bananas.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
after that, I went and got a paper route. I worked at Dolly Madison Ice Cream. I worked at the AV department at the university. I always been hustling. I do not fear work.
Yeah.
That is the greatest thing my parents ever did for me, is that they made me work and I don't fear it. So I love when it's hard because I know nobody else is going to try to do it. Most people, right?
Good point. Yeah.
Then I tell
Yeah.
people, I'll be the guinea pig, and then I'll come back and explain it to you in your language.
Okay.
I can spit game. I can spit this game on people so hard. I'll be having people just like, but they understand what I'm talking about. That's why, because they get it, right? And
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
able to articulate something that some, you know, I'm telling you, that's why acting is hard. That's why voiceover was hard for me, because everybody's telling me how to do something, and I'm like, okay, and I can't do it. But then it take that one dude to say it a certain way, and I was like, oh,
And then
it's
it
on
clicks.
now. It's on.
Yeah.
now. So, you know, I can't reiterate how much not giving up,
Mhm.
playing offense, and not expecting anything back has meant to me, because it
Mhm.
keeps my mind open. It keeps more ideas coming, and it's just, you know, it's just beautiful. And I'm gonna tell you, the pandemic is probably the greatest thing that ever happened to me,
Okay.
because we know, you know, everybody know the other side. People say, really? I was like, well, the other side's the other side, right? That's the reality side. But I'm talking about what it forced us to do. We
Okay.
all had to stop at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
In our lifetime, we ain't never had to stop at the same time, right?
That's true.
The only time you stop at the same time is a blizzard and everybody can't go nowhere. But that's for 24 hours, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It ain't long.
And then now, you know, we in the Serengeti, we in the jungle. It is rough because you dodging. You trying
Yeah.
to, what are you going to be, predator or prey, right? You dodging.
Yep.
And I chose to reinvent myself, because you're asking yourself, what can I do? I can't do this, can't do that, but I can do this.
Yeah. And that's amazing how you reinvented yourself. I mean, you went from a DJ to a platinum selling artist to voiceover to acting to SEO to digital marketing to press release, you know, and other hats. And you just basically kept reinventing yourself over and over again as the need, you know, presented itself, which
Yeah.
a lot of people say, I just do this one thing. This is just who I am, you know, and if this doesn't work, you know, I hear this a lot. If this doesn't work, then that's it. It's like
Never. Never. But this is important though, right? That's important you say that, because the reason that I can do all those things is because, and this is why, first and foremost, I will always be a DJ.
Mhm.
One, If I got hustles in the DJ booth, I'm selling mixtapes, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. People's looking at me in these streets like he making money. What he doing?
Mm-hmm.
And they
Mm-hmm.
stealing my hustles. So now, oh, you doing that too? I'm not gonna be mad about it. I'm like, good job, bro. You got my hustle. Best of luck, because here's my next hustle. Catch me if you can.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? You better have 10 hustles in the hole. Not plan
Yeah.
A's, plan B's, plan C's. I'm talking about hustles. Things
Yeah.
that you can cure, that you can nurture, that's gonna make you money, right? And then the second one is it's called there's a process called getting in the corridor. I can't remember the book, but this guy, he wanted to have a pie company, and he didn't know anything about it. He went and got a job at a pie shop, and he did every job in that pie shop, and then he quit, started his own pie shop, then he franchised it, then he sold it for $20 million, right? And I said, and he called it getting in the corridor. So I'm at Strokers, and I said, well, what can I do to be in the corridor, right? And
Okay.
I'm like, okay, let's go build a business plan for our marketing, right? And I'm thinking business plan, just, you know, just write down an essay of what you want to do. No, business plan is not that. Business plan, you need facts, figures, numbers, projections, the whole
Yeah.
nine. It took me 6 months, but I had good coaches to teach me, right?
Mhm.
And I went into the owner's name was Terry Fisher. I went into her office. I went and bought a projector and a screen. And I'm sitting there in the daytime in the club, drinking the Tanqueray and orange juice, giving the business proposal on the screen. And at the end of that proposal, me telling her I could increase her bottom line, she cut me a check for 25 G's, right?
Wow.
In the corridor. Now, what that allows you, and what people don't understand, I'm not your DJ. I'm not just a DJ. I'm your sound guy, light guy. I do your radio commercials. I do all of your television commercials. I do your fashion photography. I shoot the girls. I get them in the magazines. I do all the things that help you increase your bottom line, your SEO, your websites, all that.
Yeah.
Right. And what I've effectively done is made myself invaluable.
Yeah.
Right. And if you don't do that at your job, even if you hate it, you're tripping, because when you do that, it's not about what you're doing for the company. It's about what you're doing for yourself. If you're at a job that you hate, learn how to do everybody else's job, right? If you learn how to do everybody else's job, then that day that somebody gets fired, that day somebody gets sick, you get to jump in and let them see you hustle. Then you got job security. Or if you do get let go, your transition to the next bigger thing is easier.
Yeah. Yeah.
Most people ain't got to do all that extra work, and you're going to be stuck. And if they fire you, you're going to be, that's hard. That's it. This didn't work. But if you make yourself invaluable, you can be invaluable to the next person and the next person and the next person. Right now, I'm trying to make myself invaluable to one of the biggest companies in the world, Geico.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? I'm hustling. I'm showing them that they picked the right one. You picked the right one.
Yeah.
Because I'm about to show you things that you're doing, things for tag team you've never done before.
Yeah.
Let them see you hustle. Let them see you do this. Let them see you say, hey, who's their manager? DC. Who do all this? DC.
Yeah.
They web DC.
And and another thing that you did was you secured the brand. So you know, you learned SEO, so you could secure the brand. So when people type in your name, type in tag team, type in whoop, there it is, type in Geico commercial, you secure the brand. And that's very important that a lot of businesses don't do. They just hope that people happen to find them.
It's unbelievable because it's called disambiguation, right? Because people think, like, when it comes to SEO, it kills me because people are like, yeah, I need to do marketing, I'm gonna do social media, and I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do that. I was like, okay, so if you were looking for you, what would you type into Google? They were like, what? Like, if you were looking for you, what would you type into a search engine?
Yeah.
And they can't even tell me. I was like, you lost the battle already, right?
Yeah.
Because it's basically a mirror. You're looking at yourself. You know what you do. You know what you're capable of. So why aren't you trying to get in front of the people who need your service? Why aren't
Yeah.
you answering the questions on Google that you know the answers to, that you can make people's lives quicker? How many times have you got on Google, tried to find something, and you spent hours trying to find it? Where if somebody had just answered it effectively, who was expert in it, you would have found it in 20 seconds and you would have kept it moving.
Yeah.
Right? That is the key, right? So
Yeah.
I had to disambiguate tag team from tag team wrestling, from
Mhm.
tag team Pokemon, from tag team Liz and Shelly, the real estate duo. Like I had to squash all that. But then how do you do that? It ain't about keywords and none of that. It's about other things that I never knew about. It's about
Mhm.
structured schema markup, right?
Yeah.
It's about Wikipedia pages, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
But everybody thinks Wikipedia pages is just Wikipedia, but Wikipedia pages are fueled by data. And where do you put the data? In Wikidata.
Yeah.
Wikidata, Wikidata is new, 2014. That's
Yeah.
the way of trying to gather all the things out there in this vast universe and make them make sense to people so they can find them, because Google is a search engine, right?
Mhm.
So you got Wikidata. And for me, in Wikidata, I'm building a tag team museum because I got 30 years of articles, podcasts, interviews,
Yeah.
shows. I have a history. I'm an authority.
Yeah.
And the data. See, people are thinking like human beings. They got their emotions in it, right? Don't
Mhm.
think like a human being, think like a robot. Google is a robot. It don't be in its feelings. It don't
Yep.
have
The
no,
algorithm has no feelings.
it has no feelings. But
Yeah.
Google gives you the recipe to feed it data. So what you gonna be, a Waffle House cook or a 5-star Michelin chef, right? And I choose to be the latter. And I'm cold with it, bruh. I'm cold with it. Because what Wikidata is,
Mhm.
that's how you feel your knowledge panel. Most people don't even know what a knowledge panel is. A knowledge panel is the big square on the right side
Yep.
that you should have of your name or your business.
Yep. Yep.
I'm ranking for the 3-pack in Google for tag team
Mhm.
for keywords I didn't even think I could do, because I'm a 5-star Michelin chef. I
Yeah.
feed the bot the data at once. I don't think like a human. I think like a bot. So basically, you want to archive your life, everything you do, in Wikidata. Wikidata is the soil. You plant
Yeah.
you plant them seeds. So them seeds are all the things you've done in your life, where you were born, who you were, who you're affiliated with, who trained you, who did this, who did that. Because now, when Google crawls, it's almost like that Marvel movie where, that black hole is sucking everything from the earth into itself.
Uh-huh.
But what Google's effectively doing is bringing everything in the universe back to you and placing it where it's supposed to be, then distributing it to the things that the data connects with.
Yeah.
So there's nobody I can't get in front of. There's nobody I can get in front of Steven Spielberg if I wanted to. You see what I'm saying? It took me 10 years to learn this. Relentless failing and study and frustration and all of that. And I'm still frustrated and I still study. And I just got a Wikipedia certification. Now
Okay.
I'm in the wiki world where I get to do edit pages. I get to build my own. It's called a wiki base. It's basically like I get to build my own world, because the whole wiki thing is about like the Library of Congress or the Met or college libraries archiving all of their stuff, because you had before internet and you have after internet. So how do you do all that before internet, right?
Yeah.
And put all that data in. Now Google knows how to connect you. And now you're going to be in front of the people that need your services, and you're going to start getting calls. Now, it ain't easy, but it gets better.
Yeah. But
And
you have a great knack of how to test the market too. So I heard a story about how you used to test the market when it came to music, back when they were on cassette tapes. And you used to take it to the club, and you was like, if the girls feel it, then I know that this could be a hit. So go through that a little bit about how you test the market, because a lot of people just say, this is what I do. It's the greatest thing since ice cream. And I'm just going to put it out there, but they don't actually test the market.
There's actually several ways you test the market. With records, it actually was an accident because I started in Magic City in '89. I think it was like 1990, 91. Back then, we had to be serviced. So all the record companies, there was only LA and New York, but they had reps, regional reps. And one of the regional reps was Doug Craig, brother named Doug Craig. He used to they all come drop off their records to me. They drop off records to radio, they drop off records to the pools. And and he had a record and he said, hey man, they don't believe in this record, but I think this is a good record. Just play it a couple times and tell me what you think. And I'll come back and holler at you next week. I was like, got you. Because he asked me nicely, right? And, we was friends. Me and him was cool. And he came back the next week and he was like, so what you think? And I was like, hold on. I was like, Candace, come here. What you think about this record? Oh yeah, that's my jam. It's like, you up next. Put her on stage. The record was Candyman, right? And played that record, and he watched the whole club turn into a money machine because she's up there dancing in a way because she loves that song. And now dudes are just, money's coming out their pocket because they don't even know why, because they see her dancing to that song. Yeah. That's when I realized that is how you break. It wasn't even called breaking records back then, but that's when I knew that, hey, this could work like this. And then I said, not only is she listening to the song, there's like 4 girls listening to the song. So if this was radio, each girl goes on stage twice. You got 10 plays in a night. That's radio play. Yeah. In a club. With a strip club that's always packed, because there was only 3 clubs back then. It was Magic City, it's 4, Magic City, Paradise City, Montrez, and Blue Flag. Right? Yeah. All the rest of them were white clubs. And all those clubs, probably 2000s, turned into black clubs. That's why there's so many black strip clubs in Atlanta. Because most of them be white clubs. Crazy, right? So that's one way. Another way is, if I have a theory, I go play dumb, right? Like story with the publicity, with the press. I know a press release works. I know how to make a press release. I know the whole game. But sometimes you want that little validation because you want to answer. You need that validation, but you want to hear. You might be missing something. Okay. You might hear somebody's hustle. You might hear something in somebody else's hustle that you can use in your hustle. Like I could tell you a perfect example. This last week, I flew up to New York to take a DJ class. I've been DJing for 30 years, but I went up to take a DJ class because I'm being trained by Esquire, who done won, DMC 3 years in a row, right? One of the best DJs in the world. And he's like, what you doing here? I'm like, dude, this is what I'm trying to do. Boop, 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 boop. Yeah. For a little verification, but then maybe a little extra, right? And I need to know how to use this mixer because this ain't no Radio Shack mixer, right? This is a mixer that got way too much stuff on it. What's the best stuff on it, right? So we go through the mixer. Okay, got it down. And he's like, you already know what you're doing. Because they were trying to say, okay, we're going to do it like this. We're going to do it. I was like, no. It's like, we got to do this custom to my workflow. Yeah, right? Yeah. This is something, if I need knowledge, I'll fly to the ends of the earth to get it and fly back. Yeah. Because it's a waste of time you trying to find tutorials. It's almost like trying to find something in Google and you can't find it. But if I know somebody know it, what's the ticket? I will fly there. We can talk in mass and you're going to give me the game and I'm going to come back and I'm going to make my game tighter. I don't care what it is. So that, to me, I know how to do this and I could do it, but I wanted to get extra. I wanted to ask questions that I always wondered about. Hey man, how do I know how they do it, but how do these dudes get $500,000 a show? How do they get $1 million a show? I know how they do it because they're on the other side, right? But there's more to it than that. But I know how they do it, and it just got verified, right? So you have to verify sometimes because you're about to do something big. You want to at least know you're going in the right direction, right? You can't be so into yourself where you think you know everything, because you don't. You know what I mean? You don't.
Yeah.
And that's what I do with voiceover. That's what I do with acting. You know, these acting coaches,
Mm-hmm.
I hustle for them. When I was in class, I go to class a half hour early, help them set up the cameras and the lights and everything. Then I get to ask questions while I'm moving chairs and helping them. You know what I'm saying?
So you learn how the lighting and the camera works.
Lighting and the camera work. You know what I mean? Because they just coaches. So if I see a little weakness they have and they're struggling, I help them. I wait after class so I can walk them to their car, but I'm asking questions. So if I got to do this, how am I gonna do this audition? And boom, 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 right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then it just evolved into, hey, you coming in from out of town from LA? Let me get my people, and we're gonna record your class and then give it to you for footage.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
What they understand, but what I know is that every casting director in Atlanta is gonna be on that stage because she's a big coach. Now I get to let them see me hustle.
Yes. And you got content to give them.
I got content to give them, right? And then, like, I did it with Crystal Carson, and I said, I'm gonna record you. I'd never done it, but I went above and beyond. I did more than I was supposed to, because we did it at Georgia State. So I was like, I said, let me go get the lay of the land.
Mm-hmm.
Let me go see what the parking situation is. Let me go see. I went and did reconnaissance 2 weeks before. And then I said, hey, Crystal, parking's going to be a mess, but I bought the lot at the bottom of the hill so you can bring all them casting directors through the bay and right up to the stage.
Wow.
And she was like,
that's making you invaluable right there.
what?
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? Every little problem that was happening, I had a solution for it because I prepared for all of it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right? And it might be just a little preparation, but at least my mindset is, okay, if this happens, we can adjust like this. If this happens, we can adjust like this. Right. And then now, you know, that's the lady who called me during the pandemic, say, I got a movie for you. Can you get to Nebraska? And that's when I shot my first movie.
Wow.
Make yourself invaluable when it comes by you throw stuff, you give what you want first.
Yeah.
Don't ask no questions. Don't expect nothing. Give what you want first. And now I've got all these casting directors know who I am. So now half of my auditions come straight from casting directors, as opposed to me up against 3,000 other dudes that are trying to get the same part. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Learn. See, I go in and I figure out what the hierarchy is. I did that with doing shows, because after a while I was like, I want to do shows again. So I started calling all these booking agents, and they're like, well, you only got one song and it's old, and I know it's Whoop, there it is, but nah. And I was like, all right. And what happens when that happens? I go join an organization. I joined the International Entertainment Buyers Association. How does it work? Well, you got the buyers, the people who put on the tours. Then you got the venues. Then you got the big boys, the Live Nations. Then you got your mom and pops, the same people that are telling me I can't do it. Then you have your managers. Then you have your artists. Okay. I joined this organization, learned the game. I go to their convention, 5,000 people. Me and Chubby Checker, the only black dudes there.
What?
Yeah. Me and Chubby Checker. There might have been some more, but that's the only one I saw. Right.
Yeah.
And I start hustling. I'm wearing a big Whoop, there it is shirt. I'm billboarding. And I go to people and I'm like, how you doing? It's like, hey man, you? Yep, yes, sir. What you guys up to? It's like, well, we have a clean 90s nostalgic rap show. If I had just said, I've got a rap group, we're looking for shows, or if I had said I'm a rapper, they would have just turned away, because in their world, rap music is hell of insurance, problem, right? And when I said clean, their ears perked up. Next thing you know, I'm doing hard rock cafes, I'm doing rodeos, I'm doing we doing every type of, because I didn't know it was that many different types of entertainment and places we could do. So now the thing that everybody thought was my weakness is my strength. We got one song and you could just stick us somewhere and bring energy to the whole show.
Yeah, and you understood your audience, and not just demographically, you understood their needs. You understood exactly what their need was. So you were like, okay, so they're going to be worried about this.
Yes. Yeah, and I had to find the people who could pay me to do that. And I effectively cut out the middleman and went straight to the buyer, straight to the horse's mouth. And now I have relationships with people, and because of that commercial, people about to give us tours. And then I'm like, okay, if you know, I could dangle this carrot, like, well, Geico might be interested in doing the tour.
Yeah. And I love the way you're strategic with it. I mean, see, a lot of people like say, I'm gonna hang this hat on this one hook and that's it. But you're like strategic to say, okay, here's how all these pieces play together.
I'm
And
like,
I'm
how
gonna
does a hook
leverage
work?
this.
How does a
Yeah.
hook even work? Right?
Yeah.
How can I make a better hook? Right? Because if I think of a better, there's always another way. That's what people don't understand. It's like, especially now, like everybody said, if you're sitting around waiting for it to get back the way it used to be, well, you're going to be sitting around waiting for it to get back the way it used to be, because it is not going to be the same ever. And
Yeah.
I don't think like that. I'm standing in front of this mountain. There's a reason they say there's gold in them dark hills. I'm standing in front of a mountain full of gold, and all I gotta do is put in that work to extract it, and it's all mine.
Yeah.
How am I going to drill in this mountain, and how am I going to get to the gold? Right.
Yeah.
So you start and you go around the whole mountain. You got to do your reconnaissance. You got to go around the whole mountain. There's a cave there. Well, wait a minute. The soil is soft here. And then you start probing.
Yeah.
And then you start, and then all of a sudden you got 5 projects that are valid, that are digging into that mountain.
Yeah.
And one of those projects is going to hit gold before the other ones, but they're all going to hit gold.
And see, here's the thing too, that I love what you're talking about, that I want to make sure everybody catch. First of all, you look to how can I get in front of people that know what they're talking about to mentor me, to tell me how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't ask a bunch of people on social, or a bunch of people with theories that have never done it, telling you what you can't do. You're like, okay, I get that. You broke down the tiers. You're like, okay, these guys right here, they said I can't do this. So I went on to the organizations above them, and I started asking questions to the people that are above them, that are booking stuff for them. How do you do it? Look, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm looking at. What are you doing? How are you maneuvering? And now you're getting the game from people that are above the knowledge level of the people that are telling you what you can't do.
They are the industry, because they have an association. Like one of my friends, she was like, I want to do a laundromat. I was like, okay, you've been saying that for like 6 months. Yeah, but I just don't know. I was like, I'm gonna start for you. I found the Coin Laundry Association of America, bought her a membership. She come back a couple weeks later, man, I didn't know there was this many things you could do in a laundromat, because they had all the resources. They was calling her, telling her about financing, telling her about grants, telling her about all kind of things, because everything's about you can do delivery, you can do this, you can do that. The government's giving you money for this because you can do the hospitals, and you do them COVID sheets, you're gonna get extra, like all these things. There ain't no excuse. Because all you need is one, right? So like I said, I've joined so many organizations. I joined every organization that I can get my hands on. Even if I don't join the organization, I'll call every number on that website and ask them questions.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Like, why should I join? That's what I did. See, like I think it was like 2000. That's when 98 is when things start kind of falling apart, because the record company went bankrupt, and I'm trying to, legally get my money, and then they go bankrupt, and then I'm like, you know what? That'll never happen again. And I said, let me get into finance. And I became a licensed commodities broker. Passed the Series 3 test, hardest test I ever had to take, but I passed it. And I was working for 3 firms while I was DJing the stroker at night. It was unsustainable, right? It was unsustainable, but it wasn't worth the leap of faith to jump and do that and switch it like that, because I just wanted to know about money, right? So I figured I had to get in the corridor, right? And I said, well, dang, if I could do that, maybe I could start a hedge fund. And I was like, well, how do you start a hedge fund? I was like, I don't know. You got to have a hedge fund manager. Because back then, there's resources, but not many. And I said, well, you know what? Let me start making calls. I started making calls. And I'm like, well, my name is DC from Tag Team. I made the song Whoop, There It Is. And I got some people who got some money. And I want to start a hedge fund. I got Dominique, I got Prime Time, I got all the Falcons, I got the Hawks, Braves. I know all these people because where am I at? Magic City, and they all know me. They They been
Where the
known.
deals are being made.
Everybody been known me before Whoop. There it is. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Now everybody know me. I can get them to invest. Can I get a meeting? So I have meetings in New York, LA, Vegas, San Francisco. I'm in a boardroom in Vegas. They doing, we doing our particular, introductions. And then I ask a question, why should I let y'all manage my hedge fund? I don't even know what a hedge fund is.
Okay.
They start telling DC, our returns are like this, and then we do this, and then we can do that, and that.
So now you know all the benefits.
Yeah, we can structure it like this, and if we do it,
Okay.
what's that? Well, that's what then this happens, and boom, 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 it goes on for like a half hour. And what they don't realize is while they're feverishly pitching me, they're teaching me.
And you know what good looks like now.
You don't want it with me. I'm telling you, they taught, and I did that, and I knew what a hedge fund was, and I knew it wasn't for me. Because sometimes things just ain't for you. It ain't the time, right? And it's like, but there are good things that I call it collateral sprinkles, the good things that come from things that you do, even if you don't do them. Because people see that as a failure, but I didn't even see it as a failure. I put in work. So what can I get out of this work that's different than what I went in to do? And the year 2000, I'd look at CNBC. I didn't know what they was talking about. Year 2002, I knew everything they were talking about.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? I learned the language. Now, if I know the language, then I just need another approach on how to invest. So I was going to get some damn soap at this place, Sense and Suds. And there was Edward Jones across. I said, man, go over there and talk to them people, just see what you could be doing different. Because, strip clubs, we roll cash. And if the government come at you and you ain't prepared, man, right?
Yeah.
Everybody put all their cash in the bank. And that's how people get hit. And I went over there, beautiful lady named Amanda. She broke it down to me. She's like, okay, I see what you're doing. I see what you could do. We could do it like this. We'll make a bunch of little buckets, a bunch of little investments buckets, your SEP IRAs, your Roth IRAs, SEP IRAs for your corporation, Roth IRAs, and little investments, mutual funds here, a little bit here. And we just take $500 a month and we just fill those little buckets. Because I'm invaluable at the club, I get a check. I don't even cash it. It goes straight to my investment account and fill little buckets. And when we fill those little buckets, we fill them again. And those buckets compound. And then I have always made money slow and methodical, because consistently it takes $500 and over years it compounds. Simple. Now you can go after them licks too, right? But it's hard for me to go after them licks because I'm not a gambler and I get emotional about money. So the furthest away I am from me doing it, and I understand how it's done, but I can trust the people that that's controlling my money, then it's all good. But then I was like, why don't you start running your life like a corporation? How do you do that? Well, you got to get incorporated. Well, what kind of corporation? Well, what do you want to be? LLC? No, I don't do that. Would it be an S Corp? C Corp, because you got big dreams. I started CLG Investments 2002, and I still got it today.
Okay. Yeah.
People be like, CLG Investments, but I was like, hey, I had big dreams back then. That was going to be the name of the hedge fund. You know what I mean? But I kept it because everything I do is my hedge fund, right? So I learned how to be an accountant. I learned all about taxes. I learned about everything. I do my own bookkeeping. I am masterful at QuickBooks. I know what every penny is, where every penny's going. If a grant comes about, I can restructure it to where I can get the grant, or I can have paperwork where it's legitimate because I understand how to do it. And I had good people. I found a lady named Mary, who we get on TeamViewer, and she taught me the game. And like 3 sessions, I knew how to use QuickBooks. And then now I got power because I can control my own money, right? These little things and little tweaks that you can do in your life that have such a big impact later on, right? And I tell people these things, like, hey man, you're doing all this stuff, you're doing